So yesterday there was some question regarding the wait. So yesterday you asked the question regarding the question was regarding the RNAi, the RNA interference technology. So this technology is used. This is also known as gene silencing technology. This is gene silencing technology. Okay, so in this gene silencing technology, I told you that we have genes, and genes, they are responsible for production of some kind of proteins, hormones, or any other chemicals. So genes, they are responsible for production of proteins. And using the RNAi, so this process in which a gene expresses itself, that is the transcription. So in this method, in RNAi, we silence this gene, which is responsible for production of a particular protein. Okay, so this is the RNAi, RNA interference. So specifically what we do in this technology, okay, in RNAi, we use the double-stranded RNA. We use double-stranded RNA in RNAi. Double-stranded RNA, it is used to silence a particular gene, which is responsible for the production of a particular protein. And if we are using the single-stranded RNA, which is the most common, then this technology, it is known as the antisense technology. The same thing is antisense technology. Okay. So in our cells, we have macromolecules which are known as ribosomes. So these ribosomes, they are regarded as the manufacturing units or the macromolecular machine. So these are the macromolecular machine. So inside these cells, these ribosomes, they are responsible for the production of the proteins. These are the macromolecular machines which are producing the proteins, and they use the coding from the mRNA. mRNA is the messenger RNA. So this messenger RNA, it contains the information that in which sequence you have to arrange the proteins. Okay, in which sequence you have to arrange the particular proteins. So that information is encoded in mRNA. So the ribosomes, they take the information from the mRNA and then they synthesize the required protein. So in the gene silencing, in this RNAi technology, what they use the double-stranded RNA to silence this messenger RNA, which contains the code for the production of a particular protein. Okay, so this is basically a rough idea of the this RNA interference technology, and it has many applications. Again, it is used in the genetically modified crops. Okay, and it is used in the manufacture of drugs which can reduce the cholesterol levels to half. Nikhil, silencing of genes mean a particular gene is responsible for the production of some kind of protein. Okay, so if that particular gene is not producing that protein, that means that gene is silenced. Okay, यहाँ पे the ribosome unit, they are taking the information from the mRNA and utilizing that information, this macromolecular machine, they are synthesizing the proteins. Okay, ribosomes are the macromolecular machines, they are the manufacturing units, they are synthesizing protein using the information from mRNA. But by targeting the messenger RNA, mRNA, using the double-stranded RNA, so we are silencing the mRNA. It is not giving information for the production of this particular protein. कि किस सीक्वेंस में प्रोटीन को अरेंज करना है, ये इंफॉर्मेशन mRNA के अंदर कोडेड है. Okay, and there is also one term which is known as, hold on, yes Ruxana, the codons, they are the 3 pairs of, like we have adenosine, thymine and guanine, so 3 pairs of these nitrogenous bases, this is known as one codon. Okay, good evening Ruxana. So ribosomes, they are the manufacturing units inside the cells, and they are taking information from the mRNA for the production of specific kind of proteins. And in the RNA interference, this process, we are silencing, we are targeting a particular mRNA, messenger RNA. Okay, and we are silencing this mRNA by using the double-stranded RNA. Okay, so in this process, we are silencing the expression of a particular gene. So this is all about RNA, and we are using it in the AIDS therapy. We are using it to produce drugs which can reduce the cholesterol levels to half. Okay, and we are also using them to improve the crop yield and to make the new genetically modified crops. Okay. So is there anything else? Is there anything else that you want to ask? We also have one thing. We have the CRISPR-Cas9 protein. Non-Nikhil, the genetic modification, we can do it in any living organism, but the genetic modification is banned in case of the human beings. Okay, in case of animals and in case of plants, it is not banned. There is one protein which is the CRISPR, CRISPR-Cas9. This is pronounced as CRISPR. So this is one protein, CRISPR-Cas9 protein, and these are known as the molecular scissors. These are the molecular scissors. Basically, these are used in gene editing. Okay, for altering the sequence of the genes. So CRISPR-Cas9, these are molecular scissors, and they are used by biotechnologists in altering the gene sequence. And CRISPR-Cas9, yes, for correcting the genetic defects and to gain some desired traits. So CRISPR-Cas9, it was very much in news. It is very much in news for the past 3-4 years. So it was asked last year. Okay, so things that are in news, they can ask anything, any technology that is in the news. So any specific topic that you want to discuss, specific questions that you want to ask. You also have something known as the LiFi. And there is one thing which is the Wi-Fi. So one technology is LiFi and one technology is Wi-Fi. We all know what a Wi-Fi is. Wi-Fi is basically a local area network on which several of the computers, they can connect to the same Wi-Fi network and they can get connected to the internet. Okay, and Wi-Fi uses the radio waves. Wi-Fi uses the radio waves. Okay. And in case of LiFi, we are using the ordinary, sorry. So in case of LiFi, we are using ordinary light. Okay. In the LiFi, the information, it can be transmitted by using ordinary light, using the visible light, and not just visible light, but also the UV and infrared part. And in case of Wi-Fi, we use the radio waves. Okay. And the problem with LiFi is that it can respond in only those situations when we have light. Okay, if there is darkness, then you cannot connect to the internet. It does not depend upon the intensity of the light. Okay, however small the intensity of light is, if light is available, then you will have the internet connectivity. But the light, it gets completely blocked by the concrete walls. Okay, so that is the main disadvantage with the LiFi, that the concrete walls, they can completely block the light and you may not get internet connectivity in the whole area. But in case of Wi-Fi, 2 to 3 BHK apartment, it can easily cover that much area because radio waves, they have longer wavelength. Okay, they have longer wavelength, and you all know the phenomena of diffraction. The longer wavelength, they can there is a phenomena of diffraction and they can move around the corners. Okay, by diffraction, the longer wavelength waves, they can move around the corners and you can have the Wi-Fi connectivity across your 2 to 3 BHK apartments. Though the concrete walls, they can even obstruct the Wi-Fi. But the radio waves, they can come inside around the corners, okay, around the corners and around the edges of the gates and any entry. But in case of LiFi, if the light is blocked, then internet connectivity is lost. So any other thing, any specific thing that you want to ask? LiFi has not been used on a commercial scale. Okay, it is not yet being developed to a stage that it can be used for everyday purposes. But LiFi technology, it works. It has been demonstrated. But LiFi has not yet become the everyday technology. And in the LiFi, we can use even the LED bulbs. The LED bulbs, they are used. They have demonstrated the transmission of internet by the use of LED bulb. So any specific thing, any other specific thing, any doubts, किसी भी तरह का कुछ भी regarding UPSC, regarding science and tech, you can ask me anything. आज आप लोगों की कितनी क्लासेस हुई? Yes, Nikhil. Through genetic modification, we can avoid the genetic problems. Like that 3-parent baby. In the 3-parent baby, okay, we use that technique to avoid some of the diseases that were caused due to the mitochondria. There is some genetic material that a baby inherits from his mother. See, Disha, they are not asking the static biology for past 5-6 years. They are not asking it. The things that they are asking is they are majorly from the newspaper. So you can invest a lot of your time in doing the biology NCERT of last 10th, 11th and 12th. Okay, the NCERT of the physics and chemistry, but they are not asking these questions. So you can invest much of your time in these books and you may not get that much benefit. Like for example, let me give you one more example. We have the world history and we have the paper of ethics. Okay, world history and ethics, they are equally lengthy. It takes so much time to cover the world history and it takes the similar time to cover the ethics as well. Okay, you can skip a lot of things in the world history, but even by skipping a lot of things, it takes very long time to cover the world history and to remember the things. And similar amount of time is needed to cover the ethics portion. But ethics, you are sure that it covers 250 marks. Okay, and by doing the world history so well, you will be disappointed to see that only 12.5 marker question is asked, and even no question was asked, or a 10 marker question was asked, or even no question from the world history was asked. So you have to do this kind of cost benefit analysis. So you can do the biology in most of the institutes. Okay, most of the people, they will say that कि NCERT कर लो, बायो की कर लो, फिजिक्स की कर लो, 12th तक की कर लो. वो सिर्फ बोलने वाली बातें होती हैं, वो लोग भी नहीं करते. Because if you cannot revise, if you cannot revise a particular book, there is no point in reading it. अगर रिटेन नहीं कर पा रहे हो तो फिर उसको पढ़ने का फायदा नहीं है. And this is not just my take. अपने एक्सपीरियंस से भी कुछ बातें सीखी हैं and some things that I have borrowed from the experience of others. Okay, these are the things that I have borrowed from the experience of other toppers, people who have qualified this examination. because when we are in front of the, yes, we can cover the evergreening part. Suppose there is any entity X. Okay, you have produced any medicine or any technological thing, and that thing is X, and you were granted a patent for it for 20 years. Then after the 20 years, your exclusive monopoly over your technology, over your creation X, it ended. So after the 20 years, what you did a small modification in X, and you produced a thing X plus 1. Okay, you did some minor modifications with the X, and you came out with a new product X plus 1. Okay, it is 90% X, and there are some changes in it. So you will claim the patent for this X plus 1. So when you will claim the patent for this X plus 1, because it includes a component of X, so there is a component of royalty as well. You will get the royalty for X as well. But the companies, what they do is they indulge in aggressive marketing. They indulge in aggressive marketing. Like if X is any drug, then they will do the marketing. They will plan their campaign such that the doctors, they will start prescribing the X plus 1 medicine. They will say that X plus 1 has the increased efficacy, X plus 1 is the better drug, and X, it is outdated. So their marketing is such that the doctors, they start prescribing the X plus 1, and they have very much faith in their marketing strategy. The X is available, the drug X is available for the generic manufacturers. But the market, it will shift to the X plus 1 because of the marketing. These big companies, they have huge resources. They plan their campaigns in such a way that the doctors, they are more inclined to prescribe the new drugs, and the demand for X plus 1 increases in the market in comparison to X. So this process is the evergreening of patents. This is the evergreening of patents. You registered X as a new product, which is X plus 1. This process is evergreening of patents. And in case of anti-evergreening law, like India has incorporated Section 3D in the Indian Patent Act. And Section 3D, it prohibits this evergreening of patents. If the drug X, you have claimed that you have produced a new drug X plus 1, then you have to give proof of the increased efficacy. Okay, mere alteration of the chemical formula or merely adding a new component in the drug, they does not constitute as a new drug. They do not consider it as a new drug. Because the problem is that because the company has the exclusive right over a particular drug, so it is not freely available. The generic manufacturers, they prepare the same drug, they are using the same formula, and because they have not, the generic companies have not invested in the research and development, so they have invested only in the manufacturing unit. So the drugs that they are producing, they are cheaper. मैंने पहले भी बताया था, I told you that in the research and development, in the development of new medicine, okay, the billions of dollars, they are wasted in the research and development to search for new medicines. And it is not sure that even after investing $1,000 million, you are not sure that you are going to get the right formula. Okay, 90% of the times, the companies, they fail to arrive at a new drug. So in order to promote the research and development, these patent rights are granted. Okay, so to encourage you, so that the companies, they do not get disheartened, because 90% of the times they say that they fail in this process, in the discovery of new drugs. 90% of the time they fail in searching new drugs, but in the process they end up wasting, okay, millions of dollars. So the patents, they require patents to promote the research and development, and for obviously the monetary benefits. So the section 3D, it requires that any company which is applying for the evergreening, okay, taking the old drug and they are saying that it is the new drug, then you have to prove its efficacy. You have to provide quantifiable, verifiable data that this has increased efficacy. So this is expressly mentioned in the section 3D of the Indian Patent Act. So section 3D is known as the anti-evergreening law. Anything else? Anything else? Energy level दो कैसे है? And my personal take is that this is the time when you should focus more on the pillar subject, the core subjects of UPSC. Okay, कल भी मैंने यही बात बोली थी. The core subjects, they are the polity, history, economy and geography. अगर like there are some basic skills to excel in any field. No, black hole is a different thing, dark energy is different. We do not know anything about the dark energy, and we do not know what is inside the black hole, but certainly we know that the space is infinitely curved inside a black hole. The space is infinitely curved. The gravity is infinite because the space and time is infinitely curved. Using the observations from the Hubble Space Telescope, there was a Big Bang, and from that Big Bang, the universe, it started. And because of the Big Bang, because of the energy that was released in the Big Bang, the universe was expanding. Okay, starting में there was expansion because there was an explosion to begin with. But after some time, there should be contraction because we have gravity. Because of the gravity, the things, the galaxies, they should come towards each other. So initially, the scientists, they predicted that after some time, the expansion will slow down, and finally, the universe will shrink because of gravity. And finally, we will shrink towards a point, the starting point from which we started. Okay. So because of the Big Bang, the universe start expanding. But after some time, because gravity is an attractive force, and because of the gravity, the universe, it should contract. And finally, we should have a situation like the situation we have in the beginning. So this was the prediction of the scientist. But later on, this using the Hubble Space Telescope, it was found out that the universe is in fact expanding. The universe is not shrinking. The universe is in fact expanding. So what is the reason for the expansion of the universe? The gravity, it should pull everything. Okay, it should pull everything and the universe should contract. But from the Hubble Space Telescope, we analyze the data from the Hubble Space Telescope. there is one phenomena which is known as redshift. Okay, there is a phenomenon known as the redshift. When the light is coming from a distant galaxy, suppose you are on the Earth and the light is coming from a distant galaxy. So light has a wavelength. Everyone will agree that light has a wavelength, and this light is coming from a distant galaxy, which the Hubble Space Telescope will capture. And suppose this galaxy is moving away. Because this galaxy is moving away, the observed wavelength at our detector, it will be larger. Suppose this was the wavelength of the light, but because the source is moving, so we observe the longer wavelengths. Because the source is moving. Okay, there is a spread in the wavelength. So this phenomena is known as the redshifting. Because you all know that we have VIBGYOR, R is on the top and B is on the bottom. This is the VIBGYOR, and R has the longest wavelength. Because the wavelength, we see the stretch in the wavelength, and this phenomena is known as the redshifting. We are moving towards the red side of the spectrum. This is violet, this is red, and red is on the higher wavelength side. And if a galaxy is moving away from us, we will observe an increase in the wavelength. This is known as redshift. So by observing this redshift, the Hubble Space Telescope, we infer that the universe is in fact expanding. Okay, so there must be something which is pulling apart the universe. Because of which the universe is expanding, there must be something, and that something is known as dark energy. There is a dark force which is pulling away the galaxies, and that is the dark energy. And also the speed at which the galaxies, they are moving away from each other, that speed is also increasing. And all this thing is attributed to dark energy. We only know that dark energy is responsible for the accelerated expansion of the universe, but what exactly the dark energy is, we do not know. Okay. The identity of the killer is unknown, but someone has done the murder. Nikhil is asking, sir, here, what is the light source? Nikhil, the galaxies, they have millions and billions of stars. Okay, so we observe the light coming from a very distant galaxy. So dark energy is responsible for, okay, Nathan. Again, at the time of the Big Bang, when the universe start expanding, so initially all the particles that were formed, okay, initially all the particles that were formed in the Big Bang, no particle was having any mass. No particle was having any mass. So there is a great physicist by the name of Peter Higgs. The Peter Higgs proposed that from the standard model of particle physics, the Peter Higgs, he further explored the standard model of particle physics, and he made some contribution to the standard model, and he said that in the universe we have something known as the Higgs field. There is something known as the Higgs field. So when the particles were formed at the time of the Big Bang, these particles, they interacted with the Higgs field. Okay, जो भी कुछ Big Bang के बाद में जितने भी particles universe में बने, they interacted with the Higgs field. And upon interacting with the Higgs field, all of these particles, they acquired mass. Okay, so the mass of any particle, it is the mass of any particle, it is the expression of interaction with the Higgs field. We all know that the mass of electron is something 1.6 10 to the power minus 31 kg. So it means that electron interacted with the Higgs field, and as a result of that interaction, electron has a mass of 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 kg. Similarly, every other particle has a mass, like photon. Photon has no mass. So photon has no mass because it did not interacted with the Higgs field. So all other quarks, they interacted with the Higgs field, they acquire some mass. Any particle in the universe has some mass because of the interaction with the Higgs field. और इन्हीं सारे elementary particles से पूरा का पूरा universe form हुआ है. Okay. So अब standard model के अंदर, in the standard model I told you that any two particles, they interact by exchanging some kind of bosons. Okay, so we have the Higgs field. You are having the Higgs field, and suppose electron has to interact with the Higgs field. So how the electron will interact with the Higgs field? It will exchange a boson which is known as Higgs boson. The interaction in the standard particle model, in the standard model of particle physics, interaction means exchanging of some particles which happens to be boson. So when any particle interacts with the Higgs field, it will interact via the Higgs boson. And in the year 2012, in CERN is in Geneva, and this is France border. This is a lab which studies the standard model of particle physics, and in the CERN we have different labs like ALICE. If you find any of these terms in news, please pay attention to them. In the CERN we have different labs like the ALICE, the ATLAS. So what they are doing, they are bombarding, okay, they are colloiding the elementary particles at very high speed. Okay, in the beginning of the universe, we only had the elementary particles. So they started colloiding these elementary particles in the Large Hadron Collider. Okay, they were basically creating the conditions. Those were at the starting of the universe. So inside the lab in 2012, they discovered this particle, Higgs boson. And when the Higgs boson was discovered, it validated the proposal of Peter Higgs, the theory that was proposed by Peter Higgs. Okay, तो जिस पार्टिकल की वो बात कर रहे थे पीटर हिग्स, वो लैब के अंदर हमको मिल गया. लार्ज हेड्रॉन कोलाइडर में we found out this particle, this Higgs boson. So that means the explanation of Peter Higgs, that was correct. The standard model of particle physics, that is correct. Is it fine, Nitin? Okay, welcome. Any other question? रेड शिफ्ट सबको समझ में आया? Okay, good. So any other thing? Any other doubt regarding UPSC, regarding preparation? Yes, Nikhil.
Sir, you told the universe is expanding and the stars are moving away. You told like that, sir.
Yes, Nikhil.
So that means you and our sun will be also moving away, sir.
Yes, Nikhil. We are in the Milky Way, our galaxy. Okay, our galaxy is moving away from other galaxies.
When if sun moves away, then how we will get heat and lights? And
We are moving along with the sun. The sun is moving inside the Milky Way. The sun is moving inside the Milky Way.
then in future we won't be able to see other stars, sir, other than sun.
No, we will remain attached to our sun. Someday the sun, it will become a red giant star, and the history of Earth, it will end. The Earth will end that day. तो अभी स्टार्टिंग में जो भी टेस्ट सीरीज हमारी हो रही है इंस्टीट्यूट में, वहां से अभी यू कैन नॉट जज योरसेल्फ फ्रॉम दोस टेस्ट सीरीज, क्योंकि यू हैव नॉट कंप्लीटेड योर कोर पोर्शन ऑफ द सिलेबस. So those test series, they are provided to you in order to acquaint you about the UPSC pattern, how the questions are framed, how the statements are framed. Okay, ताकि आप पैटर्न के एक टच में रहो. That is why you are being asked to give those test series. And if you are getting poor marks and if you are getting very good marks in the test series, do not take it seriously. Okay, for now. The test series, they play a role when you have completed at least 90% of the syllabus and the exam is 2-3 months away. Then test series, they do play a role. Okay, like if you have attempted 80 questions, and your 1/4, 25% of the questions you did wrong. Okay, so 20 questions you did wrong and 60 questions you did right. So for the 60 questions, you will get 120 positive marks. Okay, and for the 20 wrong questions, you will get 13.33 negative marks. Isn't it 13.33 होगा ना? बताओ. So if you are attempting 80 questions, are you getting my voice? Okay, so if you are attempting 80 questions and you are doing 25% of these questions wrong, you are marking 25% questions wrong, means 20% you are marking, 20 questions you are marking as wrong and 60 question you marked as correct. Then you will end up getting the 106.67 marks. और last year की cutoff कितनी है? I guess it is 99 only. It is 99 or 98. The cutoff for the 2019. So in that scenario, you are very well above the cutoff and you are in the top 2.2% students. Okay. So having accuracy of 20 to 25. Okay, if you are doing error, 20 to 25% error, you are having 20 to 25% error, that is acceptable. So when you will do the test series, yes, Nikhil, the cutoff marks, they change according to the difficulty level of the paper. Okay, and related to the performance of other students. So I am saying that if you are, and if the difficulty level of the paper increases, your error, it will increase. It will be close to 30 to 35% in the difficult paper. And in the easier side of the paper, your error will be around 20%. So we do the test series just to analyze our pattern, that how much questions we are doing wrong, to prepare a strategy for the actual examination. And you may find some people who will say that they attempt 60 questions. They attempt 60 questions, and out of the 60 questions, they will do 55 questions as correct. So such kind of people, they are a very big minority. Okay. ऐसे successful candidates 1% से भी कम होंगे, if at all they exist. Anything else? If you people want, you can write those answers that I provided you, or any other part of the GS. Okay, I can evaluate those papers for you. So I will not be taking any class at Plutus from tomorrow. Yes, Nikhil, there is reservation. There is reservation for the visually impaired people. So don't worry, you will get it. If any of you want me to evaluate your answers, you can send those questions to me, and I will evaluate them. So I will not be taking classes from tomorrow onwards. And if there is anything that I can do for you people, then please tell me. With the neutrons and neutrinos, they are entirely different. See, the neutrons are composite particles. Yes, Disha, you can send your questions to Jitin sir. I will take up your doubts. Okay. I am not taking classes from tomorrow, but I will take up your doubts, and I will even check your copies. Don't worry. So these neutrons are composite particles, and one electron plus one proton. If you bring one electron and a proton in the nuclear range, then a neutron will be formed. A neutron is a composite particle. And a neutron is a composite particle, and it is a very heavy particle. It is a heavier particle. But the neutrinos are elementary particles. They are the fundamental particles. Neutrinos are fundamental particles. They do not have any further structure. They are not composite particles. And neutrinos, they are almost massless. Neutrinos are almost massless, and neutrinos, they are weakly interacting particles. They barely interact with anything. Okay, at this moment, the billions of neutrinos, they are passing through our body, and they are not interacting with anything inside our body. Nikhil, it would be difficult for me to take classes, okay? But I can give you one write-up, and if you guys have any problem, you go through the notes, and if you will have any problem, then we can take a special doubt session. Or you can send your specific doubts to me, Nikhil. I will take those doubts, but it would be difficult for me to take classes from tomorrow. Can the neutrinos, they are almost massless. Nikhil, you will send your doubts to Jitin sir, and Jitin sir basically is the mediator. Okay, he is the course director, and he will channel your doubts towards me. Yes, Ashwaya, I can evaluate your questions, and it will be better if you will write the previous year questions from the GS paper 1 and 2, and those belong to the static part. Okay, please do not write any other question, and especially from the current affairs, do not write the questions from the current affairs. Okay. For the GS paper 2 and 3 dynamic portion, you will write the answer for those after 4 or 5 months from now, when you will have a command over the major issues that India is facing. Okay, the major issues that have happened in the past 1 year, and for now, the writing the answers or the current affair questions, it has no meaning. So for now, you can write the previous year questions for the GS paper 1 from the history and geography part, and from the GS paper 2 for the polity part. Okay, and you can send these questions. For the polity question, you can send them to Jitin sir. History questions you can send to Kulbhushan sir, and you can also send them to me if you want. You can send those questions to me as well. In the mains answer writing, I told you the flow of language. Obviously, the content is the paramount. The structuring of content, it is also very important. Okay, but if your language flow is not good, okay, your grammar is poor, then it will be very difficult for you to write a good answer. Because the thing is that the other person, the examiner, he is making a notion about your intelligence by reading the paper that is in front of his eyes. So उस बंदे को नहीं पता है ये आंसर किसने लिखा है, और ना ही उसको आपके नॉलेज बेस का पता है. He will make perceptions about your intelligence from what you have written. So इसीलिए do not use very hard vocab. ये आप लोगों के साथ भी होता होगा when you are going through the Hindu newspaper and you find some article which is using some very heavy vocab. The sentence formation is complex. Then you are more inclined to skip that article. ऐसा होता है कि नहीं होता? Same thing it can happen to the examiner. And if your handwriting is, suppose your handwriting is poor, okay, you have done some spelling mistakes, and then you have written in very complex language, but at least in the Hindi newspaper, that is in the printed format. Okay, it does not cause pain in your eyes. But if you have a poor handwriting, okay, you are writing very quickly, okay, and that too you have done some spelling mistakes, and after that you have used some heavy vocab, then it would be very difficult for the examiner to comprehend it. So write in simple language so that the other person it can read it in one go. इसलिए अपने क्वेश्चंस, अपने आंसर्स को आप खुद भी उनको इवेलुएट कर सकते हो. Read it again, okay, reread it, and you will find mistakes. Okay, you will easily find your mistakes. But initially, if you are writing any of the questions from GS paper 1 and 2, you can send those questions to any of the faculty. You can send those questions to me. I will evaluate it. That is my personal guarantee. Any other thing? GS paper 1 is very scoring. GS paper 4 is scoring. many of the questions in GS paper 1, they will be of the static type. Okay, and you can prepare GS paper 1 very well. Okay, the mains is predictable. The GS paper 3 is also predictable. The 2025 major issues for the past 1 year, the questions will be framed only from those issues, and those issues will be current issues encompassing the previous 1-2 year. Okay. तो अच्छे से प्रिपेयर करना अपने कोर सब्जेक्ट्स को, इनको मजबूत करिए, ठीक है, अपनी पॉलिटी फिनिश करिए, एंड प्लीज यूज द स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स. Whenever in doubt, go and watch the interviews of the previous year toppers. And when I say the previous year toppers, don't see the interview just of the rank 1, okay, rank 2. You can watch the interviews of in the rank 30, 40, 50, 70. They all are of the same caliber. And please watch the interviews of at least 5-6 people. And you can always reach out to your mentors. So any further question, any other thing, or we can end the session. If you do not have any further question, can I end this session? Welcome Nitin, welcome Kritika, welcome Vipul. See, your attitude, it will decide everything. Your attitude is how you handle the situations. Okay, how you handle the situation, that is your attitude. And your intelligence will not decide anything. So intelligence is a very important parameter, but your attitude, it will decide everything in your preparation. So never ever feel demotivated. Let me give you one more example of this attitude. Suppose you are an IPS officer. Suppose you are an IPS officer and you are posted in some district where some of the Bahubalis are active. You are posted in one of the district where some Bahubalis are active, and suppose you are going to nab a gangster and you are encircled by a mob of the supporters of the gangster. So you can handle this situation in 2 ways. ठीक है, आप आईपीएस ऑफिसर हो एंड आपको और आपकी टीम को, आपके साथ जो भी 3-4 ऑफिसर हैं, आपको घेर लिया है गैंगस्टर्स के, उनके जितने भी लोग हैं उन सब ने. ओके, अ मॉब हैज सराउंडेड यू. सो वन पर्सन ही माइट फील डिमोटिवेटेड, और वो पर्सन अपने घर पे फोन लगा रहा है कि आज तो मैं खत्म, आज मैं घर पे नहीं आऊंगा, बच्चों का ध्यान रखना, ठीक है, इस बैंक में इतने पैसे हैं, उसमें उतने पैसे हैं. वन पर्सन विल बी ऑफ लाइक दिस एटीट्यूड कि आज तो बस फंस गए और आज लाइफ खत्म. एंड द सेकंड पर्सन, एक ऑफिसर इस तरह का भी हो सकता है, ही विल आइडेंटिफाई दी हु आर दी अनरूली एलिमेंट्स इन द क्राउड. ओके, इफ a crowd has gathered, there are only a few elements in the crowd which are responsible for all the nuisance. So a responsible officer, he will gather his team and they will identify these 3-4 persons and they will target these 3-4 persons. The rest of the crowd, it will scatter. Okay, the rest of the crowd, it will scatter. One officer, he is calling his family that आज तो मैं खत्म हूँ, आज नहीं बचूंगा, and one officer, he has managed the situation very well. So this is all your attitude, how you are handling the different situations. Okay, and you all are young people, you have huge energy inside you. Okay, you are the reservoir of energy, you can do anything. Bhagat Singh 23 years की एज में वो फांसी झूल पे, अभी भी जवान ही सरहद पे गोली खाता है. Okay, why? Because they have the immense energy to do the sacrifice that is required. Because you have the energy, you can do any kind of sacrifice. और इसीलिए एक किसी भी देश का भविष्य जो है उसके यंग पीपल पे डिपेंड करता है. So please practice positivity. Your attitude is everything. And because you all are preparing for UPSC, you all are intelligent enough to crack it. Practice positivity. Okay, make up a good attitude and all the best for your future endeavors. Nikhil, don't worry. I will be available to you people all the time. Okay, if there is any problem, you can inform the management of Plutus IAS and I can always come and take a special session. Thank you, Disha. Thank you, Harini. Thank you, Kritika. Thank you so much, Nikhil. Don't get emotional. So guys, this is all for today. And now I'm ending the session. And I'm always there to help you. If there is any problem, you can call the management of Plutus IAS and I will be there to help you. Thank you so much, Aishwarya. So this is all from my side and I'm ending the session. And good luck to you and all the best and practice positivity.